Yeah, so basically we have the tools in Python for visualization, and Matplotlib is a low level, plotting or a visualizing library in Python. We have another powerful library called a Seaborn, but today I think if time will allow us, we shall go to that. But I want to focus mainly on the Matplotlib. Yeah, Jupyter. But then I usually have some students. Let me just respond. I was to have a session with them today, but due to some issues, let me just communicate. Then I shall be here. Yeah, sorry guys. So I think let me create here a new file. You guys, you say that I don't like the dark theme. Let me change to a light. Although it usually affect me, the light excess light. Let me find the glass. Yeah, so today we are going to discuss Matplotlib, not actually Matplotlib. We are discussing visualization in Python, and the library that we are using is Matplotlib. If time will allow us, I shall talk about the Seaborn. Seaborn is now a very advanced tool in visualization in Python. It uses is actually it's built from Matplotlib, and this one is specifically for pandas, NumPy, and the other packages. So I think the first thing before you do anything, whenever you're working with packages, before you write any code, be sure that you have that package installed in your system, in whichever language, be it on if you're working on any other project. You ensure that first of all you check, even if you have it, you know that you downloaded earlier. But before you work on anything, the first thing that you want to do is to check if you have the package installed in your system. Now, to check this package, if you have Matplotlib, because I said that we are going to begin with Matplotlib, you can run this command, pip show. Hey, it's small. Pip show what Matplotlib. pip show Matplotlib. And by the way, if you want to execute several commands, it's a good practice to use an exclamation here so that Python, this notebook will recognize it as a module, as a command, as a command. So you can see now I have here, I think I installed it earlier. If you have an account, I think it usually come pre-installed, but you can always install it in your command line. For me, I don't have an account at the moment. Let me try to oh, this is the one that is running. So to install on the command line is pip. Remember, any package in Python, we usually use the pip to install the packages. in Node we usually use npm, and in other packages, frameworks, or other languages, they have their own package manager. So in Python we usually use the pip. In case you want to install any library, any module, use the pip install 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 what? Install matplotlib. Matplotlib. So this is how you install Matplotlib, and then because for me I already have it, it will tell me that a requirement already satisfied. But if you want to install it directly into your notebook, you can use that command pip install install what? Install matplotlib. Matplotlib. So basically, if you want to like write multiple, because like you can see at the moment, this one is just for code. But if you want to tell the notebook, be aware that you are executing a command, not like a normal code. You begin with this exclamation, because if you write many others, like let's try to say pip pip show cbon, something like that, it will throw an error because it will say that syntax error, something like that. Here you can see. So whenever you're working with you want to execute command direct in the notebook, so be sure always to use the exclamation so that it will recognize it as a command, then it will execute. So at the moment I was just trying to show you how you can install Matplotlib, because I want us to begin with Matplotlib, and I think it's going to be very, very deep. I want to like help those who are beginners to understand the depth of Matplotlib. So I think it can take some time, but if I'll finish earlier, I shall also introduce the Seaborn library. So this is how you install the Matplotlib. This is how you install Matplotlib. Again, it will tell me that the system is already satisfied. The system is already satisfied. I can see. So are people following? Are you getting some ideas here? You're following?
Yes, yes, we are also checking on our side and it's okay.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. So yeah, I think we are together then. So basically, in visualization part, basically, we usually use a submodule inside Matplotlib. Still, we have another sub-library, sub-package called a pyplot. So the pyplot, these are the ones that we usually use to like visualize the things, stuff in the terminal. And by the way, just know that Matplotlib usually use the tkinter. There's a package, the GUI compiler for for anything that you want to, for example, to visualize. Like you can see something like a graph that is that's kind of an image or something like that. So it usually use tkinter, the GUI compiler by default. When you just download Python, it will come with the GUI compiler. So for example, you want to plot a graph, a scatter plot, or anything, it will the tool that will help you to compile like to like make that thing happen is a package called the tkinter. It works in the background, so you even don't want to know that, but I just know that there's a compiler called tkinter that helps Matplotlib to visualize, But if you'll be if you are into like uh, if you like you want to like develop the GUI like application, then you can learn more about that. But I just know that there's a package that help Matplotlib to compile things and present visuals. So now as I said that Matplotlib uses a submodule called a pyplot for visualization. So the first thing that you do now, once you've checked that you have pip in your system, you can see in fact there's that command. When you just run pip show Matplotlib, you can see it gives you some small history summary. Like you can see this one is Python plotting package, It has some description also the version and stuff like that. But now sometimes you might want only to check the version instead of these other theories here, these other details. In case you don't want, you can just execute a command here to check on that. Yeah, to check on that. So basically, if you want to check, you'll first of all import Matplotlib. So the first statement, I think by now you know these things about modules. You begin by importing with the import keyword. Import is a preserved keyword in Python. So import matplotlib, import matplotlib, and now if you want to check if you want to check the version only, you can run this command print matplotlib and then dot, then you run this function here, version. This will return the version of matplotlib. We saw earlier it was on this one, it was 3.82. So let's check. Matplot. Oh, I wrote my thing. Matplotlib. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, guys, you can see now the effect of writing the goodness of working with the alias. So, like, for example, if you are writing something like matplotlib and then you're using the package pyplot, pyplot, you see, if you're not like good in spelling like me, you can write in the process, you can write something that is not correct, and Python considers these spellings very well. If you even if you just miss a comma or a letter, it will throw an error. So the goodness of working with this matplotlib or in Python general or working with modules, it gives you an opportunity to use alias. So instead of like writing the entire statement, you can just say, for example, P or a M, S, S, and then, for example, just say M. So instead of writing the entire matplotlib name here, you can just type there M, because now M is the alias for matplotlib. So you can see there's no like typo, because it's just one word. So I think working with the alias is quite important. And I think also I've explained that about the alias. So on the visualization, as I said earlier, we basically usually use pyplot. That is a submodule under matplotlib, which specifically work with the visualization or visualization of stuff. So the statement to use or to import, use the import keyword, import matplotlib dot pyplot. So this pyplot is the submodule under matplotlib that works on visualization of stuff. So when you go to the documentation of matplotlib, so let me just matplotlib documentation, they use the plt. Actually, this thing is I think I'll wait till tomorrow. But okay, you can see the latest version is there. So where's the documentation of this thing? But I don't want to go into these things. But you can go to the documentation and learn how it works, and how you can see also on the documentation of matplotlib they use plt. So many people, they know that the alias for matplotlib.pyplot is plt. So it's a good practice to adhere to, like the general like a convention for naming the alias for matplotlib. So just use plt. Though even if you use something else, it will still work, but use what many developers do use. And so basically, this is how you import the matplotlib.pyplot. pie plot. So now let's say you want to visualize, or maybe let me try to explain some useful function in Matplotlib. So for example, if I want to draw points or to draw markers in a diagram, you'll use a function called plot within the Matplotlib. So the function, let me make it a comment. Or I think let me just add in the comment so that it can be good here. Let me, so that in case someone wants to want the notebook, it will explain why. So this one is like a 2, and this one is to do what? To get, let me say, get, how can I put it? Anyone who has an idea, is it not version because it also display the name? How can I, or history?
I think to show whether you have the Matplotlib installed.
Or okay, to show. So if you have Matplotlib, I am not good with spelling Matplotlib. Perhaps I can.
Is it a module or a library? Matplotlib.
Matplotlib is a library, is a package.
Okay. So
Yeah.
to show if you have the package installed there.
Yeah. So to show, by the way, to show if you have Matplotlib libraries, right? A library or package is just the code library. I think library is the easiest word for people to understand instead of the packages or modules. Yeah, so I think that is fine. Then at the next one, I can say what to install. Let me let me say this one to install Matplotlib. And in case I forget to add in the comment, just remind me. Yes, I always tell you that I'm not sharp. I'm not, I'm always forgetful. So, and that this one is to check the version. Actually, I'm writing things, so help me to write things that will help other to understand better. To check the version. Matplotlib. Code. Yeah. So, and then now to import. Today I want to make it very clear for people to know these things. So to import. By the way, can I just import it once and then I'll be using it several times instead of repeating the same import statement in the, or maybe for people to understand, I'll be repeating. So import. I know it's weekend, people are tired, but I try to do it. Mm.
You see that one that you have written?
Yes.
Import
Sometimes.
Matplotlib.
Yeah. So like on this
Or rather,
Matplotlib.
okay, yeah. I would rather advise that you say to import PyPlot from Matplotlib, because importing the Matplotlib and importing PyPlot, they are like two different things. So to
Wonderful.
import PyPlot from Matplotlib.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you.
Welcome.
Alternatively, by there, another way to import this pyplot, there's also another statement called from. So you can say from matplotlib import pyplot. But let's just use this one. Let's just use import pyplot from matplotlib. Yeah, so this is fine. Yeah. So I think I think I'll be trying like to, I don't know which way will make people understand better. but I wanted like to import this thing at once, and then I'll be just coding without importing it in the other cells. But now I say that we have that function for plotting or to draw points or markers in a diagram called the function. So whenever you see the plot function, remember anything that is a function, it usually follow with the parentheses. Like for example, plot, it will be within the parentheses. So whenever you're working in this function, ensure that it is the function name, then a parenthesis, then your arguments or parameters inside the functions. So I want us to have here a simple example. And remember also Matplotlib works with NumPy, or rather, you can use it just independent, but for in data science, just know that it can also work with NumPy, and I believe you guys have some skills on NumPy. But there's someone who asked me a question the other time I haven't forgotten, and I'll not want to lie because I had promised that I'll explain the other day, but it was too busy. I think within the session I'll try to explain. Or can I explain that one now? Because I think someone asked about the access or how you can slice, for example, in a 2D, 3D. Should I do it now, or maybe someone will remind me maybe later on number? Because
We'll remind you at the end.
thank you. Don't forget. I don't want to lie to be a liar. Whenever I appear in the session, people say that liar that has joined. I don't
No.
want that perspective. So I was just importing this one and then I remembered. So NP. So I'll try to use here a NumPy array, and so let's create our. I want to use I want to use here I want to plot here like a graph. I want to plot here a diagram with some points So let me define, for example, the y points. Can I call it just x, or let me begin x? Can I call it x, or are you saying that I use something descriptive? Let me say y, for example, points. Then I'll use a numpy array. I define it as np dot array function. Then let me just create 2 points here, and then for example, let me use by the way, that aspect is very, very important, because whenever you understand how access works in an array, you'll know how to do it in pandas. You'll know how to access, for example, the rows, the how you can, for example, specify particular rows, particular columns, and then analyze them in particular. So that concept, ensure that you remind me, because I think it's very, very useful for people to know that. So now here, I'm using here a one-dimensional array, and then let me just pass some two values here, because I want this plot to have only 2 points in the start, but as we advance, we shall create more powerful, uh, we shall be using more powerful, what, powerful data sets. So let me say y points. So this is just we are just creating a numpy object here, a numpy array actually, array. So this one will be the value, but the other thing that you need to know, you ensure that the values in the x and y axis, they match. Like if you're plotting like a graph, like a plots, so it usually have x and then a y. So you can't have only one point. You need to define a board. So whenever you use the x point, whenever you have a values for your x point, ensure that it is similar, not actually similar, but the numbers are equal. The numbers are equals also to the y-axis, actually elements, because or something. Let me just use something like I would want something like let me use something like here. This is fine. So when I say that you use the plot function, if you want to, sorry, I say that you use the plot function if you want to draw points in a diagram. So first of all, you define your module. So we used this statement. This is a module is a PLT. We define it as an alias PLT. So here you are going to say PLT. PLT is the package name. And then now the function within that package is a plot that we want to use. And then the points is x and y points. So x, let me just copy because I told you that I'm not good with spellings. I can write my own things. So let me just pass there. And then the y points. So basically this is the did I say the plot is a function to plot the diagrams inside the to draw points or markers inside the diagram. I think I said that. And then now, so once you've plotted the diagrams, and then the next thing is like to visualize. So for example, you want to visualize the paragraph that you've like explained, like you've drew, or maybe the points that you drew. Then I'll use the show function. So like for example, if you've written in your Python code, normal Python code, you've written your statements you want to execute in the terminal, you'll use the print function. Or maybe if you're using the function that you want to return, you'll call it if you want to execute something in the terminal. Now on the graphical page, or maybe in the visualization like context, we use now the show function if you want to visualize anything you want to visualize anything here. So use the PLT. Remember that's the package name, because once you define in Python, we don't have this function called show. So it's only in PLT, in this matplotlib.pyplot. So you have to define first of all the package name where you want to use the function. So it is PLT. And remember once again, I repeat that this PLT is just the alias for the pyplot package in the Matplotlib. So let's try to plot. So you can see now we have like a graph with plot. We plotted something. We've plotted like this graph here with these points 1, 8, 3, 10, and so forth. So the plot function is like used to create the points or the marks within your graph. I think that's clear after that. So the first argument, just know that this one defines.
I think Ibrahim has raised his hand.
Oh, I can't see the other side. I think they can just speak.
Okay, thank you, Nana. Today I'm just following rules, raising hands here and there. Thank you so much. You see, I've been following up, and my code has brought the same graph like yours, but there's an error before that graph. But I cannot see that the same error on your notebook. But it's working.
Which error on which code execution?
I've used the same code that you have used everything. It has given me the graph. But there's an error, name error. Then name error is name into quotes show is not defined. But it's working.
Did you use the PLT? Did you use the package name PLT?
Yeah, PLT.plot into bracket x point, comma y points. Everything. I've imported numpy as np.
You want to copy and paste your code in the chat.
Oh, let me just copy by there.
There's something I've seen.
I mean,
Ibrahim.
I've seen. Yeah, I've seen. Sorry. I've seen where the error is. You can go on. Thank you, Nana.
What if you also want to see so that you don't repeat your mistake?
I had not really. This is the first time Nema had written show without the PLT. So I was also wondering, because I saw somewhere you need to write like PLT.show. So when he wrote it, I was like, let me try this one. What am I doing? So I've discovered that he again did
Yeah,
that.
basically the importance of like defining the package name is because like something like show is not within Python, it's not in Python. So whenever you begin with a package name, so it defines that you're using that function. Is it explicitly within that package? So because when you define it without the package name, it means that it is Python. You know, by default, this notebook uses Python is like for Python, direct Python. But if you like define the package name, it means that you are using that function within that package. And in this context, we are using the show function in Matplotlib, in pyplot in from Matplotlib. So you have to define it for it to work. Otherwise, Python will tell you that it's not defined.
Maybe Nehemiah, maybe if you remove that plt.show, the graph will still come with some other, not an error, but try delete that line and run it. Just remove that show. Remove the show also. Remove show. Then run. So
yeah,
how do you explain that?
Yeah, the same way you can say, for example, let's say, let me say hello world. You know, by default, Python will just guess what you want to do. Like you can see when you just run this statement, it will execute it as a string, even without the function. So Python it tries to understand what you are doing. But it's not a good practice to give Python
a lot of work.
Yeah, don't give it a lot of work to guess what you are trying to do.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. So PLT dot show. Now I think now you understand how you can plot. But now so assuming that you want to plot something without the lines, you just want to use the markers instead of the lines. Like I want to see only the points that you have. So you'll basically want to define the marker. You know, there are several ways on how you can define the markers. But let me show you with this one, though we shall talk about that in details. So for example, you want to use they're called what? Bullets. Is it bullets or those rounded, something like a full stop but it's big? What do you call it? Is it a bullet or a bullet point or what are they called? Or let me visualize it so that you can tell me well. So sometimes you want to only show display, so you can add in another argument here. Remember, the plot function, you can add as many arguments as you want, in fact including also, for example, the colors of the markers you want, and many other things that you can include within the plot function. So it takes many arguments, but now on this one we are going to define the marker. So for the bullet thing, we use the 0. Is it O? Yeah, O, to define the markers, the markers alone. So this way, you'll only see the markers. You can see these things. They are called the points, the markers or points. How do you call them? Is it bullets?
Data points.
They are called data points. This thing exactly, this round thing. Let's just maintain the yours. Yeah, points. Let's just call them points. But you can have a different type of markers. I don't know how you call them. For example, you can have something like asterisk, and something like a different type of a marker can be something like, for example, we shall talk about these things perhaps as we go on. But they are different apart from this. I'm calling them bullets, but I think there's a proper way to call them. So now assuming that you have several points, you want to visualize several points. So also it will depend on the number of values that you've defined here. Remember, at the moment I'm just using the basic values here, but in a real life scenario, you'll be using the, a data set or something like that, or a data. Yeah. So, for example, you want to have.
Nema,
Yeah.
can I just bring you back
Sure.
and try and use maybe mathematics to explain that? Huh?
Yes.
You see where you have the ones that are holding the markers. Huh?
Yes.
In my class of mathematics, when I was in high school and I was in college, we used to call those things coordinates.
Yes.
Because as you can see in that function, we are saying that x point is 1, 8, and then the y point is 3, 10. So that means the first marker will be at x is 1. You can see that. And then at y is 3.
Y is 3, yeah.
Right? Then the second point will be x will be at 8, and then the y will be at 10. So that tells you that is where the two markers meet, or if you like, coordinates meet.
Yeah.
So those are the points.
Yeah.
It's like finding the answers to that. That is where they meet on the graph. Yep.
Yeah, and I
Sorry
think
for interrupting, Nema.
my question was specifically on this round thing, this blue thing. What can you call them? The best word.
Yeah, because I have tried, by the way, if you replace that O with a letter like X,
Yeah.
if you replace with M, if you replace with P, they bring different patterns.
Yeah. So I think there are some names that are usually
I
given.
think it's a circle.
Circle, yeah, by the way, let's call it a field circle.
Yeah,
Is it
bullet
intersection
point.
you are looking
She
for?
I
has
think you're right
she has
there.
invented a
Bullet
name.
Is it intersection you are looking for, Nehemiah?
Yes?
Is the word intersection you are looking for?
Intersection. Actually, the intersection is what we are looking. But now I wanted to know the two that is showing that intersection there. But don't worry. This was just my random my random things. Don't worry about that. Let it not confuse anyone. I was just like, that was just not necessary there. So now, so assuming that we want to plot several, we want to see like you have a data set. You want to see like the shape of the the shape of the graph, something like that. So for example, you want let me add in some random values here. So let me say for something like 6 and 1, something like that. But what you have to consider is that the values at the x should tally the values at the y. So let me add in also something there like random values like 7, something like that. Are they 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5. Let me add in something like 9. Let's try to visualize. So you ensure that first of all the values tally, they match they are the same. Now let's try with let me try removing 1. You can see it automatically throws the errors there, because let's see the error. You can see here it says value error. X and Y must have the same first dimension, but the shape is, it is not. It is 4 of us, and then the other one is 5. So you have to ensure that the values, they are the same. X and Y. You know how coordinates works. It usually have the X and then the Y. So you ensure that the values are not the same, but the elements are the same. Which number did I use the other side? So basically, this is how you can do multi-points. You can create multi-points, and if you want to include the let's try without the markers. You can see how to. I've plotted something terrible here. I was just guessing the value, so don't worry. So basically, this is the shape that I've just drew there. So basically, this is how you and this is how you can create something like that. But remember that if you do not specify the points on the x-axis, and if you do not specify the values like in the x-axis, it will get the value. The values will be defaulted to 0, 1, 2, 3 in that order. So let's try a scenario where we have only the values at the y-axis. So it will automatically generate its value behind the scenes for what? For what? Sorry, for y. Let me run here y points. So it will be like 0, 1, 2, 3. It will go that way. So when I run without the x-axis, you can see it automatically adding the value. So it will use like a 1, 2, 3 in that format. So you can see now the plots are within 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will like adding those values by default if you do not specify the x-axis. So I think that's clear up to that. You can respond. Are you eating supper? I haven't eaten supper.
Yes.
Eating supper?
Nehemiah,
Yes.
I think I got a bit lost when you added the O. What were you trying to check when you added that O?
Let me undo or this cell here. So yeah. What's the question?
There was a point where you added O.
Oh yeah, so that O is to define the marker. Basically, you can use the keyword like marker, or you can just say O. Let's say O, for instance, inside the quotes. So it will mean that I want to have this thing, and I think someone has invented the name, and I've forgotten the name that she invented. Oh, circle points. I think she said that.
I think the name circle points. We might look for another name. Try put P. You see what happens.
Oh, what?
P instead of O. Put P and run. So it's like hexagonal.
A pentagon, yeah, there.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about these things like in details. Into this in details about on how you can use different markers here. Yeah. So Lorraine, you can just pass here the marker name, or you can just use the marker. In fact, this is what I wanted to talk about now. You can use the marker, then you define it this way, or by default if you do not specify, if you add it in a string, so it will automatically know that it is. What is that thing? So for example, if you want to have, you can see now you've defined the markers, but also it has done the plotting. It has drawn the lines and then the markers. So we are beginning with the O. You're asking about the O. So that O is used to create the circle points or markers.
Okay, Nehemiah.
Yes.
Will I be correct? Maybe saying that we need to use the word marker because from what I'm seeing and understanding from your explanation,
yes,
is that when you use any letter there, it's like it marks the exact point on the graph. That's why I'm using the word marker.
Yeah. Let's just call them markers, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's just call them markers. I don't know, Lorraine, if you've understood.
Yes. So when you say marker is equals to O, it will bring the points plus adding the lines that join the points. Then when you use the O alone, it will only show the points.
Yes, the points alone.
Okay.
Yeah, perhaps let's try with different ones. So for example, for asterisk, if you want to add in the star, you can use the asterisk symbol in your keyboard. Then the marker will be what? The marker will be asterisk. I think let me remove the O. the marker actually, so that it can only plot there. I don't know if I have to zoom in. Are you able to see these things in the screen?
Yeah.
You can see it on your end.
Yeah, you can see.
Yes.
Okay. So for example, you want to have only a point, you can use just a dot. A dot like that. Where is that thing? Oh yeah, you can see it's here. And then also, for example, you want to use something like a pixel, something like that, you can use a comma. There are several ways. In fact, whenever you use something like a plus, I don't know why when I click on it, it goes to something else. Mhm. Let me try to use something like a plus. I think it's here. It will. So basically, there are many things that you can use to plot. So it's just on your choice which one you want to use to plot. Yeah. So as you can see now for plus, it goes to a plus. Yeah. So it's no longer a circle as a circle like marker. So there are several ways on how you can. But now the default one, I think many people usually use the circle or maybe the asterisk, that star. But I don't know which one is you are liking. So just know that there are several marker points that you can use. Is that clear up to that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So and then within this argument, just know that within this these I don't know why. Let me try to zoom in a bit. But I think this thing, let me use it in the last cell so that I can access them quite easily. Because whenever I click on it, it goes to another cell. I can't see it. Let me make it here so that I can see well, and then I'll zoom in a bit. So actually, by default, you can have as many arguments within these parentheses. Like I want to define, for example, the default one by default is the marker, and then the second one it is usually the colors and so forth. So for example, you want to specify the colors within this, the color of the marker. You can use you can use something like R for red. It will define the marker points to be red. Let me try to run that one. You can see it's red. Let me use. I think let me use 0. I think 0 is nice. I like 0. That rounded marker. Yeah. So you can see you can define the colors as well. So whenever you use the R defines the R defines what? Red, and then a G green. You see how these things are usually, if you've worked with something like Photoshop, you know those colors how they are defined. Something like a green, you'll use G for green. It will be green. Something like if you want to use something like black, you'll use what? It should be
B.
W. No, is it
Black
W?
is gay.
No, this is white. K is ordinary is K. Black is K. White is. So by there is that thing CMYK by the CMYK. Yeah, so K usually stand for black. Yeah, so and then for something like magenta, you can use something like M and so forth. So the list continues. I don't want to waste your time on these things, but you know how you can use the colors.
Yeah, we have seen.
Yeah, wonderful. And you can as well specify also on the line. You can specify which markers you want to use in the line. Like for example, you can see now at the moment it is
Dotted.
it is dotted. So you can say if you want to use something like dashed, you can use this symbol the hyphen. No, like you can see the second argument here was to define like the first one, it is dotted. So if you want to use if you want to use color red and then the line is something like dashed, you can use hyphen. Remember that the next argument here defines the type of
Line.
the line. Yeah, you can see now this one is a continuous. So if you want to like have dotted, you can use something like a dot. Is it dot dash? Is it a period? Let me call them period. That thing. Yeah, that thing it will be like it will be something like for example, you want to make it dash dotted, it will be something like that. So it will be dash dotted. If you want to make it something like a dashed line, you can use 2 hyphens. So let's try one, and then you can see this is dash dotted. If you want to use something like for instance a dash, the continuous dashes, just like that. No, it's just, these are just the basic things. So yeah, so I think that's clear how you can define the lines, and also you know how you can define what the markers. The markers, you know how to define the markers. You know how to use the colors, right?
Yeah, Nehemiah, on your previous code, just just the same one that I've been playing around with.
Oh my
The
goodness.
first time, there. No, yes. The first time on OR, you had used like a full colon between OR. Then you have removed. What does that mean?
Oh, no, that one defined you saw when I was using that one, it was like a continuous dotted. And this, let me try again. It was a dotted line. You can see.
Yeah.
It will be like a dotted line. Then the other one will be, if you want to use something like dashed, you can use, so basically I think let me write somewhere the syntax there. So let me write syntax somewhere. So syntax on those thing in the what, in these quotes, you can use something like let me type in their syntax. So the first one we realize it defines what?
A marker.
A marker. So let me just marker. And then the second one defines the line.
The line, yeah.
The line. And then the third one defines the
color.
Yeah. But remember, you can define each one independent. Like for example, marker, can just say marker, and then you assign a symbol to it. Then a color, you define a color, and then I give it a symbol and so forth. Yeah. So that's clear. And by there I talked. Let me just make this one first of all a mark down, and then I can use, yeah. So for example, let me copy the code because I don't want to write again from scratch. Now, how do you define the size of these bullets? These are marker. Let's call them markers. How do you define them? So you can you can just use the marker size for MS for marker size to define what the size of the marker. So with this one, so we know that this one will be marker O, then it will be dashed, then the color will be, let me use blue. I think B will stand for blue, right? If you know the pattern, I think blue B can stand for blue. And then let's call them marker size. Then unless they are in pixels. So let me use, by default, like you don't have to define the units there. So let me increase, and then you'll see it is quite big. Let's try something like 10. Yeah, so you can see how you can resize, or maybe let's use something like 1. It will be so small. You can see it, you can't even see it. So basically, this is how you define the marker size. Let me use 5, I think. 5 is fine. Yeah, so guys, basically that's how you can define the the size of the marker. Are we together up to that point?
Is it possible to define the size of the line? Maybe if you want a thicker line.
I'm not sure if that is possible. I'm not sure. I haven't seen one on that. But let's just search here on the documentation. It's called what? I should have searched here. How can I? Which keyword can I use here? So line.
Use line width. I think you can extend the line width.
Oh, line width.
Yes.
It's possible.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful then. So we can with the by the it's possible. By the it's possible. But can I finish this one? Then I will go on that one, right?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Basically, also on the part of the colors, you can as well use. In fact, like for example, someone like me, you realize that at the other time I didn't know how I can distinguish between the white and black. I called black with W. So you can see sometimes you like you're not good with the with what you're not good with these symbols. Like for example, if you are just good with with the CSS, the code, you can specify your hexadecimal values for your colors and stuff like that. So by the also it allows you to use those things. So instead of this thing, in fact, let me just remove many things here. Let me remove and I'll be dealing with one. So for example, you want to specify something like the color, the color. So something like you want to only specify the color, you use this MFC. MFC, this is for like to define like the color. No, this one will like you'll be using the is this one is like if you want to use these symbols, something like a blue, something like that. Let's see. It will give you that color. But now, for example, if you want to use like your CSS color, your color code, you can use something like something like still the same colors, I think. And then let's define here our colors in there. For example, for yellow, let me use. For yellow, we all know like for hexadecimal value is FFFF00. That should be yellow. It's not working. Let me use a single quote. I don't know if it will have any effect, but I think it should be this way. Or this is by the way, this is blue, by the way. Is it really blue? No, let me try with something like a red. I think red people know. If this one will fail, then I will know that I have a problem there. Sure, I have a problem. Hey.
I'll try to choose. I believe that is MFC equals to MFC, right? So I would advise that you increase the size of the marker so that you can see what is happening. Because I've tried that one from my end and it's working, but it's coloring the marker points.
By the reason. By the.
Yeah, so increase the size of the marker so that you can be able to see the change.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that. Let me try to increase to
you're welcome.
Something like 20. By there they are so small to be seen. So parameters are always separated with a comma.
Okay, do this.
Yes.
You see, like, we don't have a marker, first of all. Yeah, we need a marker first.
Sure.
Yep.
Marker, let me use. Should I use the 0 one that I like? The circular one. And I always forget to add in the comma. I don't know why. So it's working. Oh, but I was wondering why. So let me try to use now my yellow, the one that I refused the other time. And wow, it's working. Yeah, this is so wonderful. Let me try something like orange, FFA 500 should be orange. Yeah, this is wonderful. So basically, if you are not sure about the R things for red, you are not you don't know how you can maybe define something like green in symbol. You can just use your colors like you can just define your code to define those colors. So I think on colors it's clear. I think also it allows like the color names, like something like let's say red in full. Oh, it allows also. Yeah, yeah. And by the way, when I zoom in further, I don't know if you can see the edges are in blue. Only the fill color is red, but now the edges, I don't know if you can see, but on my end it is blue. So you can as well specify. You can also specify the colors on the edge. Like on this one, I can specify something like so. To specify the edge, you can say marker edge color. You can give it to your preferred color. Which color can I give it in the edge? Mm, or let me. Which color can I give
Just
it?
give it red so that we see the blue disappear.
Oh, at the moment you can see the blue thing.
Yes.
Wow, you have sharp eyes. You have sharp eyes. I always forget commas. I don't know why. Just know that the parameters in Python, they are always separated by a comma. Yeah, you can see now that blue thing is no longer available.
Yeah.
Let me try to fill in with something like blue. Then we see the edges are red. So let me use B for blue. So let me use the name blue. So basically with this one, it allows you to use it can allow you to use the symbol, the color name, or the hexadecimal value, or any other CSS color values. So I think on colors it is clear.
Yes, from my end.
Oh, so I think is it Lorraine? Is Linda say that it's possible to specify the color. I think we usually use the line style to like not.
Neymar,
Yes,
is on the MS and MEC, I won't try and understand the full meaning. I think
Oh,
the MS is like marker size, the MEC is the marker edge color. What was the MFC, please?
let me find it. So this
Marker fill color, fill.
marker field color. So this one will affect this thing at the inside, and then this one affects the edges, like at the outer thing that fill these things. Like let's say it's avocado. You can see the not it's not a good example. Let me use orange. An orange. So you can see the outer is yellow, but when you cut inside is white. So the outer thing we use the MFC, the marker. No, MEC for marker edge for edges, and then C for color. Then this one is for fill the inside. I
Thank
don't know
you.
if I've complicated.
It's clear, thanks.
Oh, wonderful.
I just wanted to know the full meaning, the MFC, which is marker field color.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
yeah, thank you so much. So sometimes you don't like want to use you can as well define the styles independent. Like on this one, I think I've told you how you can define the colors. Like you can see the default syntax if you are writing there. If you want to use the shorthand, you can just specify it this way. The the first one stands for colors, then the second one stands for like the line style or maybe how the line should appear, and then the other one is color. But I haven't told you how you can use the the keyword for line style. So for line style, you can just use the line style the way it is, the simple line style. These things are very basic. I know you guys are, wondering, when we'll reach to pandas and discuss things in details, how to draw those powerful visuals. But I think it's also important to know these basics, right? Before you go to visualize things.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like you can see by default, if you don't define it, it will use a continuous line. But you can as well specify the line style. Line style, and at this time, I think let me begin by a comma so that I will not forget. So line style, then you can assign here to, let's say something like, let me use something like dotted. You can as well use the names to define your what? The style of the line. So this one, the output will be the dotted. You can see the line is now dotted. You can use other things like, for example, dashed and things like that and so forth. Dashed, you can use something like, my goodness, where was I? Yeah. Something like a dashed. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so basically, guys, you know how you can define each parameter independently, right? You can use the symbol or the names, the dotted, dashed, or sometimes you don't want to have the dashes. You can just leave it. You can just give it. You can just, let's try to give it an empty and see if it will return anything. Yeah, so if you give it an empty string, it will not define your plots. It won't define what it won't do your thing. How can I put it? It won't draw those things. And also for colors, if you want to define your colors for line color, you can just specify the color to be something else, the way we did earlier, for example, color. And I think there are so many arguments. I told you earlier that it allows many arguments here. So you can just say something like a color. This one will define the colors of the line, actually the overall colors for things. So it can be, for example, red. You can just use something like R will define that the lines will be written in red, and blue, and so forth. Yeah, and the list will continue. So I think for width, if you want to define the width, I think it's possible. Let's try with the line width. For example, someone asked about the width. I think that parameter is there. So let's try line width. Hey, my thing is long. My code. Line width. Let me specify. Remember that the units are automatically in pixels, so you don't have to specify the units. So let me say something like 15. 15 will be so big, something like that. Let me. Yeah, it's very terrible. So let me try to use something like 5 even. Yeah, still is big, but you get the idea on how you can define your. So you get the idea there.
Yes, very interesting.
Yeah, so that is so wonderful. Now let's assume that you want to visualize 2 lines at a go. Can I just reduce these things? I don't think it's making me comfortable. Can I just clear these things so that I can just, because I think you understand the concept there, how you can define your colors, but I just want to work with the default things here. Yeah, so if you want to have markers, you can just specify the markers there. but let me just use this. Now, sometimes you want to like, for example, to plot like a two what? Two visual. For example, you have like you want to like identify the patterns on which a particular line graph is used to plot what? Is it
Trend, to show a trend.
trend?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, you want to like, for example, there's a line that tracks, for example, how children were how how can I put it, like the way children are born, you know, at a particular year, or how people are dying. So you can have like such trends. So let's assuming that I want to have two. Let me call them, for example, y1. Let me call it birth rate. Yeah, let me just use something descriptive. Birth underscore rate, and then the other one to be called death. My goodness, death underscore rate and that rate. So you want to like have two visuals. So I can pass here again as a normal thing I usually do, copy pasting. Then I'll paste there the birth rate, and then on the second one we'll track what? We'll track the and the and the death rate, and then you realize that I don't have what? no, no, this show is to visualize. Sorry guys, so I should have used the plot, and you are just following. You are just you know, yeah. So let me use now the plt dot show. Yeah, plt dot show. So because I've not defined the x-axis on each on each plot, so it will automatically use what? It will automatically use the 1 to 3. I explained that one earlier. And a good practice someone told me is to use a different cell, but I always forget. Let me just, I think it's clear. Let me try. Oh, let me just undo. Then I'll use the different cell so that in case someone was following, can know what is happening. So let me just use another one. Yeah, and then so it's possible to plot like a two graph, not even two. You can plot as many as you want. So one will plot what you want. Like each can be plotted like a separate. Let me try to change the values. Let me try to use even just 3 values like that. You can see how it looks like. So it is possible to do it.
To plot two visuals.
Thank you. Yeah, let's call them that survival rate. Let me add in another one called, for example, those who are living, or let me say you're living. Which word can I use? or, and there are people who are dying, there are the people who are dying, and then those who are living, can I call them living? Is it a proper term to use there?
Survival rate.
Survival, by the way, let me use survival. These are just fictional things, but you can use your thing there. So let me use here something like 2. Then here would be something like 6. This one can be something like 9 and so forth. In fact, when you are defining separate ones, you don't like have to use the unique value, because like at this juncture we are just defining the y-axis, so it will automatically plot the x by default, which will be in the sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. So now you can see it allows. I forgot I should have also created another one for. I should have created another one for the survival rate. So you can have as millions as you want, as many as you want, you know. Yeah. So yeah. So you can see that you can see that each. Yeah, let me just make this thing silent. Let me make it flight mode. Yeah, and you can see by default it will give you a color, and I think by now you know how you can add in your own colors. So this one is too short. The other one is too short. Let me try to give it to add it some value. Yeah, you can specify each properties on the individual. Like for example, if this one you want to like use a different, you want to like have a marker on a plot one, you can add those parameters that we discussed earlier. So like for example, if you define O, it will plot the marker on that birth rate with the O. So you can just you can just do it. You can just specify. Remember, when you use it this way, it will only plot the. But if you use the marker, it will as well plot the lines. It will draw the lines and add in the markers on those things. So you can style the way you want. You can add in the other colors that you like and so forth. I think that's clear.
Yes, very clear.
Yeah, and then I think let's discuss one more thing. Then I think we shall go to visualizing our biggest data or something like that. So like sometimes you can see on a visual to communicate very well, you need always to have like either the labels, the X, the Y, and then for example sometimes the title, like for your graph to communicate a message, you need to like have those things. So Matplotlib has those functions like to create an x-axis label, y-axis label, to create a title and so forth. So like let me just use a simple example. Let me just use one example here. And if the words are too small, you can tell me to zoom in. Let me use something that I won't like confuse to type. Let me use something like X. Though guys, I told you it's not a good practice to use these things. It's good practice to use something descriptive, but this just for demonstration purposes. So here, I want like to add in our visual. I want us like to have the X axis and then the Y axis. So we have the function for independent independent label. You can have the labels in the define. We have the X label which defines the label in the X axis. Then the Y labels in the in the Y axis. Then the title for naming your title. Let's just go with one step by step. So here I'm passing. Let me just use X to plot just a normal one, and then I said that for example you want to define something like the X. Can I just define here my X-axis, my Y-axis, so that it can be like a perfect example. You know, people might forget to always add the X-axis. Always X usually begin. Like for me, I always like beginning the X so that when I want to, there's this gun here disturbing me. I don't know how I can. Many people do this. Give me a second. I shut down the phone. Yeah, so I was talking about what? Oh, I was talking about the X, so it should be X. Guys, are you there?
Yeah.
Wonderful. It's nice to hear you are alive there. So let me add in the values for Y, and I remember that the values should be the same. In fact, let me just use something that I'll know they are the same. These are 4 elements, so let me just use, for example, something like a 3, 6, is 1 and what? And something like 8 is not bad. So I have, so it's a good practice. Like you need to understand what you are plotting. For example, if it's a line graph, you always know that it usually have the x and that the y axis. So it's a good practice to have in mind that you need to have two like points, the values in the x and the y axis. So now I said that you can use the what function, which functions to plot your, for example, x-axis. If you are following the x-axis, anybody? I've just said it earlier.
Repeat it.
And you are following. All right. So I said that you use the x label function. X label function.
Okay.
Then a y label function. And you remember that our function should have what? The parentheses. So whenever you're defining, for example, x label, it's followed by the parentheses. And then in the function, because you are labeling, it must be a string. The string it should be a string because you are labeling the thing there. So like let's try to label our plot here. Let me first of all visualize. It's like this. It's like this. Now I want to like make these x and y labels. So we can use that function. First of all, you are defining the package name plt dot x label. X label, that is for what?
For x.
Yeah, the x-axis. X-axis is the one that goes from left to right. So what can we call it? Let's call it like which one can I call it? Let me just call it, for example, I don't know which.
Call it even China, just write China.
Yeah, let me call it China, baby. Yeah, and then let's see this one first, and then I shall go to. Yeah, you can see now this one affects the x-axis because I will use the x. So if you want to use the y, you have to change it to y function, y label function, y, and then this one we can use what? We can use Israel. Israel, they are doing their thing. Israel, let me call it Israel. So you can see now this one affects the one in the what?
In the y-axis.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Thank you. And then now for title, you can guess the function even before I tell you. If you want to have the
X title.
Wonderful. Na title hapana.
PLT dot title. X title.
Yeah.
I don't think it's X title.
It's just
Or rather
title.
say it's PLT dot title.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
guessing that one.
Yeah. You can add it anywhere, but let's first of all let me add it here at the top so that it's a good practice like to be kind of orderly so that you can track your things well. So I can plot here, I can add it here. So it's first of all the package name, then just title. This one doesn't like you don't have to specify X or Y. Just say title. Then for example, let's say which title can I call it? Can I use Kenya or Nigeria this time? By the way, let me know if they are Egyptian in the meeting. I have never had someone from Egypt. Anybody from Egypt? Do they really understand English or Arabic? The reason they don't join? I have never had someone from Egypt.
I think you just use a country on that title.
Yeah, I think that they are still yesterday. They are in yesterday, perhaps. There's time difference. And they are in the other day, so perhaps they usually don't join because.
Maybe they normally join and find the meeting ended.
Oh. So let's excuse them. Yeah, so the title can be Egypt or something else. So you can see it comes here at the top. So guys, I think you understand the flow here.
Now, Nehemiah, we understand. I just want us to maybe try one. The one where we had many lines. How can we plot how can we position the titles?
So something like you have multiple like
Yes.
So I think in that case, I think I'll talk about like because if you have a title, you are assuming that you only have one visual to represent like your your entire plot graph, the title. But if you want to like specify to give a name for each line, I'm going to show you that in a few. But I just know that the title stands for the entire graph.
Sorry, I meant maybe go up, the one where we have 3 lines. The title is 1, but you need to specify the x-axis and the y-axis.
Which one? I think, this one?
Yes, that one. Especially the y-axis.
The y-axis. It will still go at the bottom.
Okay.
It will still go at the bottom, and then at the y label will go to the x-axis.
I've seen it. I've gotten it. I was trying one year. I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Nehemiah,
Yes.
and still on that one, is it possible to like have the, what are they called, the data are they data labels, so that for each line we can specify what it represents?
Yeah, it's possible. It's
It's
possible.
called the legend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll talk about that also.
There is someone raising their hand.
Yeah, they can ask.
Dairo Abiola. Okay, you can go on. Maybe he's doing it by mistake.
Okay. So where are we? In fact, I'm so confused here. Oh, we had tackled the title, and I think up to this point, people have understood how you can create your label in the x-axis, and then a label in the y-axis, and also the title. Is that clear to everyone?
Clear. It's clear for me.
Yeah, which one is for title? The last person that has talked. How do you plot the title?
plt.title.
What is PLT?
It's a module, a sub-module of Matplotlib.
Not really. The PLT is the alias for the package.
Let me answer.
Yes, you can try.
Yeah, because the summary that we did import multiplotly.pyplot as PLT. So that PLT, I believe, is the one that is representing the pyplot, and pyplot is being used for these visualizations.
Yeah.
That is, if I'm correct.
In fact, he also said it right, but I wanted like to, Yeah, so remember you can as well, in fact, so for example, assuming that a scenario where you haven't defined the alias here, so in that case, you'll have to define the whole thing. Like you can see when I run it this way, it will do what? It will, basically it is remembering the previous lines. But in that case, you are to, like I used to define the whole name, and it's not like, in fact, I'm already tired typing. So when you use an alias, it makes you like to speed up your work. Yeah. So just know that you begin with the package, and then at the function within that package, then the arguments you want to pass in, or the parameters that you want to pass within that function. Yeah, I think it's clear. So I want to go step by step until we advance to those things that you've requested earlier. So I think sometimes you want to you want to have something like a grid. By the way, the time is past 10. Is it in order if I continue? For me, I don't know how to control myself. You can just stop me. I won't have any issue.
I think we have just started.
You don't have an issue with the time, right?
Linda is in charge today.
Oh, Linda.
Yeah, I
Linda,
think you can. Yes, just go on.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you want to add in some the grid lines, grid lines. So, for example, someone like me, I can't see well to see if this one is a 1 to 6. Sometimes I need something that I can see, and then I say that it's related. For example, it can be like a 5.99 or something like that. So sometimes you want to add in those grid lines in your visual so that you can see it well. There's a function for that. I think someone can also guess the function to add in the grid lines. Anybody who wants to guess the function?
It's plt.grid.
Yeah, wonderful. In fact, that's not a guess, that is a sure bet. plt dot grid. Yeah, grid. Then it will add in your and this the grid lines. It will add in those grid lines. And sometimes, for example, I want to only have but I think that's clear, right, to the people. It's clear, right, how to add in the grid lines. Before I talk about something else,
Yeah, it's clear.
For example,
For
I want
me.
to. Okay, wonderful. So so sometimes you only want to have the what you only want to have the grids the grid lines in the y-axis alone. You will we call them grids if you have only a lines going this way alone? You don't have the vertical lines. We can still call them grid lines, but for example for x or for y. So you can as well specify that we have x and y. So basically on this grid you can specify the axis. Axis where you can specify the now I think I defined here x and y, but I was using only the x. If you do not specify, by default it will add for you at the x-axis. It will create that 1 2 3 for those default values, and I forgot here, and you are not you didn't tell me. So on this one, let's try to specify the axis where we want to have our for example, if you want the x-axis, you can just specify there the x-axis. Let's say x. Let's see if it will work first of all. Yeah, I can see it runs from these are the for x it is running from these from bottom to top. Then a y it will run from, you can guess, the y one will run from this side, from the y-axis to run the other side. So let's try with the y. The y, yeah, the y will run the y axis way. So basically that's how you can specify. You can as well add in those parameters that we were using to define the colors or the grids. The same parameters applies here. For example, you want the width, the kind of a land, the colors and stuff like that. You can as well use those arguments. I don't want to repeat myself on the same. So Now, for example, if you want like now to display like multiple plots, you want to display multiple plots, you can at the same time without like writing several commands. There was a time where we wrote like plot to plot like several other things. Basically, you can use this package within the pyplot called subplot, and then you can specify which ones you want like to which ones you want to visualize at a go. Let me use the same code, then I'll modify in action so that I can explain in action so that the people will understand better. Now let's assuming that we have this is plot 1. Let me not specify the let me not specify the let me just call it something like date. I don't know why today I'm talking about the date since my date is near, but they don't let me call it but I don't have good examples to use there. And then on this one, let me do it. Let me should I Alright, let me just make it clear so that people will understand. Let me just use x and y, but this one will be like for plotting only one plot. Let me use a comment here. Let's say plot 1, and then any other person to give us the code for plot 2.
What do you mean code for plot 2? Do you want a set of
something like this one? But let me just duplicate and then I change the values.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, before we even visualize, let's first of all let me just create plt dot subplot. So this one will be like the subplot. Like maybe let me try to explain this way. So sometimes you want like to have within the same visual, you want to have like a plot 1 and then another plot 2 within the same like graphic or at the same graph, the same title, the same things, but it's like you want to have like a subplots. I don't know if you are getting to have things like that, subplots.
I've gotten it.
Yeah, so basically you use this function called subplot. So this one can be subplot, for example 1. So on subplot 1, you can define the structure where you want it to be positioned. Like first of all, let me try to like create here, and then I think once it is visualized, I think I can explain well. Let me define the structure here, like at the display, because I can have something like let me create 2 of them, then upload. Remember, you have to define the package dot plot, and then this one is going to be x. Let me say x and y. So this is plot 1. Let me just copy everything, then I'll duplicate. So this should be plot 2. Then the values can be what? Any good values? Anyone who want to give me the values here? But they help me so that I can also drink some water here.
1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3.
0, 1, 2. Yeah. And then for y?
You can say 4,
4,
4, 7, 2, 10.
2, 10. Wonderful. And then so on this one, the second plot, then the structure will be this way, for example. Then now to visualize, I'm going to explain once this being displayed there. Then what is?
You can mute.
I think let me clear these things so that I can write right from scratch. To explain things that I've written is clear. So now this one defines the, let me remove this one. Yeah, let me remove this one. So we have two plots. We have plot 1 with its value, then we have plot 2 with its value. So now to show, to visualize, the function. In fact, it's here. I forgot to remove it. So let's try to run. I think things are okay. Things are clear. Yeah. So I think, guys, you now see like the how it is like plotted. We have like a two plot, the subplot, the the subplots. Let me try to add in the legend, the titles and these things. Will it confuse you when I add those things? Oh, in fact, also the legend affects individual plots. Let me also add in on this one. Let me make it. Let me use Nigeria. Hey, Nigeria, I like Nigeria. Nigeria. They produce oil. In Kenya, there's a serious problem with the oil. So the Nigerians, you are the one who manufacture. We depend on you. So, and then Ghana. Ghana. And guys, we're still together.
Yes.
Yeah, let me try to explain. Yes,
Nana,
yes.
can you go up and see your code? Kindly.
My code.
Yeah, go up again. Okay, no, yeah. No,
Let me
go
go
down.
down.
Let me just see that code.
This the way it is. Now I think let me try to explain this on this subplot. Let me try to explain this parameter, right? Can I explain so that you can also write it on your own, perhaps? The arguments here inside the subplot.
Yeah.
So in this one, you can see this is the first, like this is targeting this first, like figure. So essentially, the first one stands for the row. And this one stands like the row. Then this one this one stands for like two columns. For example, if you have like two like you can see these are the columns. The rows usually run this way, like from left to right. So when you say two columns, it means that you want them to be in two columns. But also remember that it should match with the number of items you have. You can't say two columns and then you have like or a three and then you have like two elements, two plots. So the first one, the first argument here defines the number of rows. So for example, if you want like to have only one row that contains tens of plots, it will be like in the one row, then it will have those plots, 10 plots within the same. And then these ones, I said that this one defines like the number of like columns, columns. So this one, if it were like if you were to specify one, it will go like in this way, like a one, then another one on the bottom, in that format. But if you specify two, there'll be two. And then now this one defines the position, like the position, this last argument. So this one will be at position 1. We can change. Let's try to change this one to be like in position 2, and then the other one to be at position 1. Before we change, let's first of all compare. So you can something that we can use to track is the title. So you can see the first one, the title is at Nigeria. So when we try to run, let me try to run and see. I've already forgotten. So Nigeria was the one that was here, right? Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, it was changed.
Yeah, so basically in a nutshell, so the first argument here defines the number of rows, defines the number of rows within your for the subplots. Assuming that you have 10 rows, like a 10 plots, you want to visualize them. So you might want like to have something like four rows so that you can display your things very well. So I can have something like 4 rows, and then the number of columns you can specify for 4. You can say something like for 10. You can use something like not should be 5. Actually, the number of rows to be like if you want to have to 2, it should be what? Someone can tell me. Let's do some calculations here together. So, for example, if you have like a 10 what plots, how many rows, to be specific, you can have? For example, if you want like to have only two columns, it should be something like 5, right? 5 rows, 5 rows, so that when you multiply by 2, it will be 10 if you have 10. So this one, just know that this one defines the number of rows. You can still visualize all the subplots within the same row, within one row, but you can see the scenario where you have 10. I think it won't be a good visual. So the first one defines like the number of rows, then the second one defines the number of columns, and then the third parameter here defines the position of each plot. Is that clear? Or maybe I've made it harder. Or I can try to, hello? Let me,
Hello, Nehemiah.
yes.
My own challenge is that
Mm,
when you are printing out the subplot, that so that they're arranged,
mm-hmm.
how does the thing call, how do you call out the, how does the compiler know that this is the one you are calling subplot, this is the one that is the normal plot? For instance, you want to plot three now, three on the same frame like this.
Yes.
Will it be another subplot, or how would you call it out?
I think let's begin with our code. Let's begin by first checking. In fact, let me use a new cell here. Let's use a new cell. So whenever you want to create several subplots, in each plot, at the end you have to define the plot. Use the subplot function here. Then you can specify the what, like the arguments for the first plot. So whenever you are having several plots, you have to define each plot with a subplot function. Now let's try to have 10, not 10 actually. Let's try to have something like 4. I think when I use different one, it will be clear. Then so now at the moment I have what? This should be 4. Then this one should be 3. So these values will have to change. Like you can see the other one we were using 2. That's why our variables was 2 and 1 and 2. But now, for example, if you want to let's say you want to have something like the 2 columns. You can see like at the moment it's just one row, one, or like one. If you want to have 2 columns, so all the values within your subplot, the first argument will have to be the same. For example, if it's 2, all the values should match 2. Then also here 2 plot 4 also should be 2. And then also on this one, on the columns, also the value should be matched. So for example, if you want to have two columns, and then the other 2 columns, the other 2 pair of columns, plots, not columns actually, 2 other plots at the bottom, you specify this way. So basically this second argument, as I said, stands for the number of columns. So when it's 2 here should be also 2, here should be also be 2, and then this one should be also 2. But now what is going to change is the last argument, because now this one defines the position of each plot. So for example, if you have 4 plots, you'll like at least, for example, this one, this is the first one. So this one will be 1, and then this one will be at position 2, and then this other one should be at position 3, and then this one should be at position 4. So on position 4, perhaps let me try to change the values, or let me just call it position 4 so that we can know. Position 4. I just call it position 4. Then the other one, let's call it position what? How did I plot these things? I only added the ones for. Let me add in on each individual. I think I had forgotten. Is it confusing? I'll try to finish on this one, then we shall create another time. I don't want to
graph. Let me paste my code on the chat. We see where I'm going wrong.
Okay, you can paste your code. Once you do that, you'll let me know.
Yeah, I have pasted. I don't know why I'm only getting one graph.
Let me see. Let me zoom in. And today attendance is so commendable, right? It's always like this. Let me, from this one, Vinny.
Yes, that one.
This is an essay here. Okay, the reason is why you are getting only one. You did not use the subplots. You did not use the subplots on. Okay, it's there by the way. But so this one is a good practice to it's just clear the way it is. And then I think first of all, let me run it so that you can see how it works. Oh.
I think the problem is the subplot, because the first one he has 1, 2, 2. So the last two is the last two. The first one is the row, then this one is the column, then the last two is the plot that should be plotted. So you have 2, and on the second one you also have 2. The first one should be 1, 2, 1 because that is your plot 1. Then the second one should be 1, 2, 2 because that is your plot 2, so that it gives you the two plots. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, so basically
I don't have the titles on the second one.
Yeah, so the last
please,
argument.
can you say that again, please?
Ati? Pardon?
No, I just wanted Linda to repeat that, what she just said again.
Yeah. Linda can repeat.
Okay, so if the way Nehemiah has just said, when you say plt.subplot, you always have the first, this one that stands here, that is the row. Then the second one is the column. Then the last one is the plot, like your first plot. Then when you go to the next one, it will be the row, the column, then the second plot. So the reason why the Vin was taking only one plot is because under the subplot, he had written 1, 2, plot 2. Then again on the second one, he had said 1 row, 2 columns, then to the second plot. So that's why he was only getting the second plot. But for him to get the first plot, you need to put here 1. So it should be 1, 2, then 1. Then the second one will be 1, 2, 2. And then if he could have added another one, it could be 1, 2, 3. So you'll end up having 3 plots and so on and so on. Yeah.
I might try put 1 there and run. We see. I'm seeing something funny. It's bringing 2. No, Yeah, why are we missing the title on the first one?
Title is not like a must. It depends with the arguments that you passed here. So like on you, for you, let's see, plot 1, and then plot 2. Let me see. Let me try to understand your code here. The title. Oh, the reason is
Nehemiah, is it supposed to have plt.subplot in the first plot 1?
To have what?
plt.subplot in plot 1.
On plot 1, you need to have like in each plot you have to define this subplot.
You have to define it.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And it's saying 1, 2, 2, meaning that it wants 2 plots, right? So that means okay. Go on.
I think let me first of all, let me try to visualize this one and explain with mine, then I shall try to check on this one so that I can explain that thing in detail very well. So let me finish on this one, then I'll get to this code. I have to address this one first. I have to check the code very well. So on this one, let me just repeat this part. I think this is where the issues is coming from. So whenever you use the subplot function, just know that the first argument stand for the rows. The first argument stands for the rows, or how many number of rows you want to have within your plots. Let's say you have around 10 plots. You can see it's not a good practice like to list all the plots within the same line. It will be very small. It will be like compressed. It will be very something small within the when you define like when you use like one row, then you have like a 10 plots. You can see it's not proper way. So you can specify, for example, whenever you have something like a 10, you can specify like in each row it only carries something like a three plots. Yeah. So that you can list them. So for example, something like a 10, you can say, for example, 2, like a 2 rows. You can say 5. You can say 5 rows, and then you use 2 columns. The second argument stands for the columns. So the second argument stands for the columns, and then these 1, 2, 3, these things stand for like the position. This 1, then the other one was 2. This stand like at the position of those plots. Let me try to run first of all, and I think I can explain it very well. I think I have named it. Where was mine? Oh, it's here. I forgot to rename here to position 1. I think I'll illustrate it well this way. So let me try to call it position 1 instead of Nigeria. Position 1. So when I run it, you can see now, because I used 1 there at the end, it is now positioned 1. Actually, I'm not talking about this one at the end. I'm talking about the one at the argument here. The subplot function. Now, for example, when I try to change this one to 4, when I try to change this one to 4, it will do what? It will be there. That one, position 1 will be the last one, and then let me try to change the last one to 1. So you can see this position 1 will be the last one. Let me try to run first of all. I don't know why it's there. Yeah, you can see now that position what? Position 4 is now at position 1, then a position 1 is at position 4. So basically the last argument defines the positioning, like at the position of your subplots. And then at this one, let's try with one plot. Let's try with 1, and then we'll see how these things affect. Now let's change the first argument so that you can see it affects the rows. So let me use all of them to 1. you will see that it will only affect the rows. It will list all the plots within a single row. Where else should I change here? There's something that I did wrong somewhere. Let me first of all see the error so that no must be an integer with greater than. Let me see the position. Where did I wrote something that is not make? Oh, you can see it doesn't make sense. Like for example, I've defined like the plots to be like in a single row, and we know that our plots are 5, and then we've said that are 2 columns. So it won't like be ideal because you can't like have all the elements. You have 4 items, then you want to have like a 2 columns. Like a 2 columns stand for two plots within the same line. So in our case, we have 4. We have four elements. So in this case, we'll have to like define to use here 4, like to have 4 so that it can tally with the number of plots we have. Let's try this way and then I will see if it will solve the error. I don't know if you are connecting or it's getting complicated.
No, we understand that part. It's now clear.
Yeah, let me.
It was not clear.
Okay. Yeah. So now you can see it is now like working. So we've defined that one row, but now the columns are 4. It was throwing an error because I had said two columns and our plots are 4. So it won't like work because the number is less than the like hey. And anyone who can assist me on that, it seems like can't. Anyone who can try to explain maybe?
It's like a grid. It's like a grid that you are forming. So if you say 1, 2, then it means you are putting the first row only 2 columns. So it can only carry a maximum of 2 plots, but we have 4 plots. So you must create a grid that will carry all the 4 plots. So that is why we are putting 1, 4, and then now the last digit now just positions the plots, which one comes first, which one comes second, and so forth. I don't know whether I have explained.
Sorry, I was drinking note. I was a bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you can also maybe someone who wants maybe to list them vertically should put 4, 1, and then whatever. 411, 412, 413, 414. That way they will appear vertically.
Yeah. Let's try that one also. Like let's try to like have 4 rows. Now whenever you have 4 rows, because we only have like a 4 plots. So whenever you have like a 4 rows, it will mean that the columns will be 1, so that the values will match. Like the values will match. So I'll change there to where? Let me change here to 4. 4, and then the columns. So you can see these things like they are dependent. Like you can say they are directly proportional. Those things we used to sing it in high school, like directly proportional to weight. Those things in high school, like they are related directly. So whenever like you have 4, it depends also with the number of plots. So like for example, if you have 4 plots, then I want to like say to have like the 4 rows. It will automatically mean that the column should be 1 for the values to fit in very well.
After family dispute went out of control at the assistant chief's office, among the injured and officer. And called one absolute.
Linda was speaking.
Actually, I'm the one who started it, but I was talking about the date earlier. Sorry. It means it was a bad luck. Oh, sorry, Linda. Is it Linda or who? We are discussing date.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm the one who began with the date things. Yes, so now on this one you can see it has like only 4 rows, but now the columns are 1, and you can see even the display is not good. So I think it's a good practice like to calculate the number of plots and see which ones will plot it well. You can see the one that I had 2, it was 2 and 2. 2 and 2 will plot it well. Cindy, is it so?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know who can explain that because I kind of not like getting the way we're positioning those subvisuals. Maybe for all of them to appear like in the same row 1, 2, 3, 4, or in 2 rows 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I'm not still getting it on how you are supposed to write those numbers, the sequence of those numbers.
Okay. Let me do this. Then I'm going to explain very well. So I was 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Let me try. I'm going to explain it just in a few. Is it okay? Let me see. So first of all, let me run. Now let me try to there's something that is missing. I'm using which ones? Is this my plot? 3. Then there's something which is not coming up.
You have put 1 twice.
Oh, 1 it's twice. But let me just begin from here at the top, then I'll change here to 1. 1.
Yeah.
Then here 2. Oh, there was another one. It will be 2.
3.
Then 3. Then at the last one 2.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, but the ones were 3.
We're working.
Yeah, so let me try to explain this way, Ambale or Ian. So whenever you have the subplot function, within the function, the first argument stands for the rows. You know how like the access works in NumPy. I didn't explain that thing, but whenever you have like your set of array or maybe a 2-dimensional array, the axis 0 always represented the rows, and then a 1 stands for the columns, the index. So index 0 stand for rows, then 1 stand for the columns. So in access terms, access 0 is like for rows, then 1 stand for the columns. So that these 2 in this context stand for like the rows because it's at position 0, and then now this one is for columns. So like let's say for example you have let me use even an example of 4. Let's say you have 4 elements, right? Ian, are you there?
Yes, I'm following.
Yes, you have four fruits, let's say 4 fruits, and then you want to list the fruits in a one column. You want to list 4 fruits in one column. How many, how can I put it? Like I want to like list the fruits in the 4 fruits in only in the y-axis. So you can tell how many axes, like how many columns will there be?
It will only be 1 column.
Yeah, it will be 1 column. So you can see they relate because your fruits are depleted. When you list your fruits, all of them within 1 column, one row. Basically I was describing something else.
Neymar,
Yes.
Neymar, So as you have just asked him and the answer that is in one column, ask him how many rows will it be?
And I think I'm the one who misled. I think I was talking about the rows, and I was so.
I think you were in order. So
yeah, okay.
You have 4 fruits. You want to list them on one line. I mean, on the column. You say okay, one column. So how many rows will that form for you? If you have 4 fruits, how many rows would that be?
If you have 4 fruits, listing them on one column, it will take 4 rows. And I want, yeah, exactly. And I just want to understand one by one because I'm seeing 2, 2, 1.
I copied. I pasted something earlier. So like comments.
Okay.
So those to replace one of the plots, or maybe the first plot.
Let me try to explain also. So Ibrahim, we have 3 numbers inside there. Let's start with let's say 2, 2, 1. So first of all, don't focus on the first 2. Let's start with the last one. The last one there is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that last one first indicates what is the number of that.
When I saying 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't even think.
I'm saying you have 4 plots. Yeah? So there is the one that you want to appear first. Maybe there is one is mangoes, the other one is bananas, but you want bananas to appear first. So it will have number 1 on the last part.
On the first plot.
The last.
On the last part?
Yes.
On the first plot or the last part?
So you can see here written plot 1.
Yes.
It might not necessarily be plot 1 unless you put the last number there as 1. Nema, you can show.
Yes. Just a minute.
Yeah. So you can write, you can comment there plot 1, but if you don't qualify.
Let me. What
okay. Nema.
Yes.
Just relax. Let me go on by one with Vin.
Yeah. So Nema, just go to your plots.
No. Don't go to your plots. You confuse me. Go to that code.
Okay.
Go to that code. I don't want to see the plot.
Which
the plot like
No. I want the code for Nehemiah. I want to use
that code for Nehemiah. The one that I can see plot 1.
Oh,
yes. So
the visuals, Nehemiah.
Just go up.
The visuals.
Just go up to
the code. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. So
no. Go up. Go up.
Just go up.
Go up. Not there.
Now.
So kindly, no. Vin, wait.
Yes.
Nehemiah, put off your mic.
Yes. Now.
Nehemiah. The mic. Yeah. Vin.
Yes.
Where we have
now.
Relax. You see where we have written PLT subplot
221.
Yeah, explain that.
That is where we want to explain. Yes. So I've started by saying forget about 22. I want to start with that 1.
Yes.
Then I'll explain the 22. So that 1 means that data, the X and the Y, the first data, you need them on graph number 1.
Exactly.
If you put 222, they will appear on graph number 2. If you put 223, they will appear on graph number 3.
So basically, the last number in those parentheses represents the position of the graph.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Now, once you have known the position, now the first 2 numbers now, that is now just the shape. If you understand the shape from like a matrix or from the arrays or from it is a 2 by 2 shape. So the shape, the number of plots will qualify what shape you write there. If you have 5 graphs, it will not fit on a 2 by 2.
Exactly.
It can fit on a 2 by 3. It will leave a space because
it will leave a space because there's some space that won't occupy a graph.
Yes. But if there are 4, 2 by 2 will fill in completely. you can also use 1 by 4. Only that now it will be one line, like on a column.
Yeah.
You can also use 4 by 1, meaning they will all be arranged 1, 2, 3, 4 in one column. 1 by 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4 on one row. You understand that?
I'm understanding that.
Anything that we still need to clarify?
Then, from my understanding is that those two numbers,
Yes.
the first two numbers, will depend with the number of the plots that one wants to plot.
Yes.
If you want to plot 6 plots, then that would be like
2 by 3.
2 by 3.
Or 3 by 2.
Or 3 by 2.
1 by 6. Or 6 by 1.
6 by 1. So, when you are changing them, then it will depend whether you will like have a square of plots,
Yes.
a rectangle of plots.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
You're a first learner.
Napana nimezoea hizi vitu za visualization na matrix na statistics.
You can now allow Nehemiah to talk.
Yeah, Nehemiah, you can go on. I don't want to get confused. I just want to solve. I want to.
You deserve some mangoes for that.
In fact, I don't want to dilute the explanation. It was very, very clear. So someone, I think, told me to copy something. Is it Anthony? I'll copy this one.
Yes, Anthony, the one posted by Anthony. That's just the comment of the explanation.
Oh, and Anthony, I think I need to save your number in my WhatsApp. I think you can text me and save your number.
Okay, we'll go.
So you said I paste it where?
In front of the subplot.
As a comment for that.
Comment in front of one of that subplot, the first subplot in front of it.
This one?
No, beside the subplot. Before the subplot, just before the subplot.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yes, then hashtag it as a comment.
So you can clear the okay, fine. Okay, honestly, you can clear the brackets up to the subplots. Just to have the I already commented the number one, it meaning so.
I think the best one to use here is the position of plot.
Okay.
Not index position. Yeah, I think we don't have to dilute. I think the explanation was very, very clear by is it Vinny? I'm not sure about the names in that.
Yes, it's Vinny.
Yes. So, by default, I think I'll have to end it here, but let me just talk about something in a few. So, by default, whenever you use the plot, it usually use the line chart. But you can as well use other plots, like for example, something like a bar. Can I use mine here? So in this part of the plot, you can use something like a bar. Another one, let me use something like a scatter plot. So they're just descriptive or semantic. Scatter, is that the spelling for scatter? And then the other one to be histogram, something like that. So basically you can use this. I think I'll have to end it here, but just know that you can as well use other visuals. Did I use bar somewhere? Histogram. Let's try to Oh, basically for histogram, actually there are some arguments. There are some arguments that are not defaulted by for you can see it has to have other arguments. So let me just try with the ones that this one is throwing an error to which one. Let me try to use another example, a simple one. It's called what bar. For bar, I think it's clear. Let me find where I have the histogram. I don't know where it is. Let me just comment this one, or let me just make it upload. Because whenever you have different arguments, like something like a pi, you can't use it the same way you define. You can't have the X label, they usually have like they relate. The arguments that you use there, they differ, and they differ for it to like have a good visual. So you can see the other one was scatter, and then there was the first one by default it was line because I said that at the plot. But guys, yes.
I don't know whether I'll confuse people or not.
Yeah, but
Okay,
there
if
I'm
you look,
yes.
yeah, to that visual, just stay on those visuals. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
If you just try and look on those visuals, you can see the lower graphs, like the titles, and the x-axis on the upper graphs. I don't know which word to use in English, but you cannot if you are presenting this, it's like they have overlapped. Is there a way in Python to make those things to appear like crystal clear? You see everything.
Actually, I'm not getting it.
I think I have understood what Ibrahim is saying.
You can explain kindly.
Yeah. The titles of the lower graphs are obscuring the category, the values of the x-axis. So I think we can fix that. Okay, I'm just thinking maybe that can work. We can try it. We can use \n maybe to try to move the titles lower. You see where there is position in your code? Yeah, just
Position
before
position. This
position 3 and 4, yeah.
Yes.
Would you try to put a / then n, like you're starting in a new line?
Oh.
No, not there. Just where there is position.
Position where?
Inside, yes.
Oh,
there.
the inside. So at the end or at the start?
At the start.
Okay. Like that.
And also the top one. Let's run and see. Just run and see that we see.
Where is it?
No change.
Change to?
Be sure you run the right. Okay, it was the right one. It should actually.
I don't understand actually, guys. Or I can just share the screen. By there, I think people.
Okay, Nehemiah, let me explain it to you. So what they are saying in essence is that once we've created these subplots, right, sometimes the labeling overlap each other and cover some axes. Then how do they solve that problem that each label will be different? My own thinking is that there will be something you adjust, maybe something of maybe figure size, width, and height to be able to help solve that problem. But I don't know, you know better. So
Yeah, sure. You can resize the. We have other. By the way, we have many other things that we haven't talked, but I think it's already past time. 1 hour past the agreed time. We don't want people to get confused on the things that I've took my time to explain. Can we have another schedule, and then I'll talk. There's something that I had to discuss, like the one that you asked earlier. I think it will be appropriate if we schedule it in a fresh day when people have the fresh mind, because I haven't even talked about this visual, the pie charts,
the legend,
histograms, those things. Yeah, in fact, by the way, you were asking about the legend. So I think it's just appropriate, because I think also on this one has brought an issue. So if we exceed past what we've covered, I'm just thinking that people won't get it well. Can we just schedule another meetup?
I think that's fine, but Nehemiah, you also have to consider that for the code challenge, right, is quite lengthy. So I would suggest that, if we are scheduling another time, it should be after we've tried to resolve that code challenge, because it's quite lengthy, so that we don't.
Just a minute
Yes, it's
kidogo.
not. Okay.
Just a minute kidogo.